and the Senate went further to deliberate on the executive communications sent to us by Mr. President, Commander-in-Chief, in respect of the Niger situation. So at the closed session, the Senate considered the contents of the executive communication from Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who also doubles as the chairman of ECOWAS, on his request for support in the implementation of the resolutions of ECOWAS on the political situation in Niger Republic, and resolved as follows. 1. The Senate condemns in totality the military coup that took place recently in the Republic of Niger. 2. The Senate commends President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and other heads of states and governments of ECOWAS for their prompt response and the positions taken on the unfortunate development in Niger Republic. 3. The Senate recognizes the fact that President Tinubu, by virtue of his correspondence, had not asked for approval of the Parliament or approval of this Senate to go to war, as being erroneously suggested in some quarters. Rather, Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief had expressed, and I quote, a wish to respectfully solicit the support of the National Assembly in the successful implementation of the ECOWAS resolutions as outlined in the said communications. The leadership of the Senate is mandated to further, on behalf of the entire Senate, on how best to resolve the issues I'll take that again. The Senate calls on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as chairman of ECOWAS, to further encourage other leaders of ECOWAS to strengthen their political and diplomatic options and other means with a view to resolving the political impasse in the Niger Republic. The Senate pledges the total support of the Senate and, by extension, the National Assembly to the ECOWAS leadership under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in resolving the political situation in Niger and returning the country to democratic governance in the nearest future. The leadership of the Senate is mandated to further engage with the President and Commander-in-Chief on behalf of the Senate and the National Assembly on how best to resolve the issues in view of the hitherto existing cordial relationship between Nigerians and Nigerians. Finally, the Senate calls on the ECOWAS Parliament to rise to the occasion by equally condemning this coup and also positing solutions to resolve this impasse as soon as possible. Is this a true reflection of what transpired in the closed session?
Yes.
Those who are in support say aye. Aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. Leader of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The second order of the day is a motion requesting the Senate to consider the request of Mr. President and CNC for the confirmation of the nominations of the following persons for appointment as ministers of the government of the Federation in accordance with Section 147(2) of the 1999 Constitution. 1. Lola Adejon, Lagos State. 2. Bosun Tijani, Ogun State. 3. Dr. Isiaq Salako, Ogun State. 4. Professor Tahir Maman, Adamawa State. 5. Uba Megari Amodu, Taraba State. 6. Dr. Maria Mahmoud Bonkure, Kano State. And 7. Festus Keyamo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Delta State. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, please recall that so far the Senate has conducted the screening of 41 nominees for ministerial appointments. The Senate will now resume the screening of the remaining nominees. Thank you, Mr. President. And Mr. President, distinguished senators, in order to carry out the exercise in conformity with our Standing Order 12 regarding floor privileges, I will at this time move a motion that the Senate do admit the special advisor to the President on National Assembly matters, the nominees, non-serving senators, and other government officials accompanying them into the Senate chamber. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I rise to second the motion moved by the Leader of the Senate that the Senate do admit strangers into the Senate chambers so that we continue the screening of the nominees of Mr. President for the position of ministers. I so second, Mr. President.
The motion has been moved and seconded. Those who are in support of the motion say aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. Strangers may now approach the Senate chambers. Senate Leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I will move that the Senate do resolve into the Committee of the Whole to conduct the confirmation hearing. I so move, Mr. President.
Minority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I rise to second the motion moved by the Leader of the Senate. I so second.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved and seconded that this Senate do resolve into Committee of the Whole to continue the confirmation hearings. Those who are in support of this motion say aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes of it. The Senate will now go into Committee of the Whole to continue with the ministerial confirmation hearings. Can the sergeant and arms bring the nominees in? Distinguished colleagues, we have before us a ministerial nominee in the person of Madam Lola Adejon. Madam, you may now proceed to give us a summarized version of your resume, bearing in mind that we already have everything here. But if there's any other thing you want the Senate to know, you can go ahead and just use a few minutes to elaborate on them. The floor is yours.
Your Excellency, President of the Senate, Your Excellency, Deputy President of the Senate, Principal Leaders of the Senate, Central, Olunroti Adebule, Lagos West, and Tokubo Abiru, Lagos East, and all the distinguished senators. It is an absolute pleasure that I am standing before you in this hallowed chamber. I never imagined in my lifetime that I would be here standing before you. And it is my prayer that this will not be my first, or it will be my first, but it will not be my last time. Thank you. Of two independent daughters, I am very passionate. I'm a very passionate person, and I'm hardworking. And I believe I represent all the hardworking people, all the hardworking women, especially women in this country and Lagos. And I have been in the IT industry for over 35 years. I bring to you the skills that I have to carry out the vision of our president, President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, in his desire to bring about renewed hope in this country. My career spans, as you can see, the oil and gas industry, as well as the banking and financial services, both local and international. When I mean international, I've crisscrossed Africa, and I'm familiar with financial services in Africa. If you talk about my experiences and my skills, I want to assure you that the skills I have will help in bringing increase revenue to the country. It will help to improve fiscal and operational efficiencies. It will help in management of poverty alleviation. It will help in management of school children, their information on school children. It will help in managing our infrastructure maintenance and so many other things. Without technology, Nigeria, without technology, we'll be living in the past. We need to move forward and we need to live in the future, or the present and the future. And what technology has done in their own industries. And I know that with your support, Nigeria using technology will be great. Thank you.
You are true? Yes, dismissed Senator Sani Musa.
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting as chair, my distinguished colleagues, and the nominee. Congratulations for being nominated. And going through your resume, I've seen that all through you've been in the IT industry. And today, digital economy is taking over from products that we export. If you look at the startups where young Nigerians were able to build some softwares, some applications which have been used, you see major companies from United States coming to patronize them, taking them over. Now with that, a lot of direct foreign investments will be coming into our country. If for any reason you happen to find yourself in a position where you make policies in the area of technology and also be the one to possibly do the implementation or supervise the implementation, how will you encourage building up hubs around the country, not just in a where encouragement, funding, to be able to bring out their skills? Because that's one area that we need to build on. You know very much about the NFTs and the packages that AI today is coming, which is a big challenge, especially to the innovation and retail industry. How can we take advantage of those areas too in our own digital sector to boost our economy? That's my 2 questions. Thank you.
The Chief Whip of the Senate.
Mr. President, being a gender-sensitive nominee, and also to me, the most qualified of the female that came before us. You are 64, you are older than me by 2 months, and I believe that even your appearance corporately, and as a grandmother, as a widow, and I read your CV, I'm impressed. And therefore, I want to ask you this question. One of the major problems you hear in this country in the technology sector related to finance is the case of Yahoo Yahoo. And all this transaction of Yahoo Yahoo is through the banking system. It's not that people collect directly. This should be a matter of concern. because mothers, widows, retirees lose their money to these young people who are desperate to make money, more especially because they are not employed. So what do you think you can bring to the table to address this serious challenge we have in the country?
Distinguished Senator Abiru.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, sitting as the chair, and my distinguished colleagues. My name is Senator Adetokunbo Abiru, and I represent Lagos East. First, I would like to congratulate Madam Nominee, but I also like to admit that the nominee is somebody that is well known to me for over 30 years, and you can tell by looking at her CV that she has crisscrossed the banking industry, and I'm a product of that industry as well. But her expertise in the banking industry is more in the area of technology, and I can confirm that she had played prominent roles in business transformation and strategy for most of the banks that we have in Nigeria, particularly in the early 90s when we had when we were in the era of the new age banks. I believe very strongly, given the accomplishment that she's made in the industry, I believe very strongly that she's going to bring her expertise to bear in the current administration of our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, particularly in the area of the reforms that are ongoing. And I make bold to say that she will be very useful in the area of business process engineering that is required in most of our ministries today, and the operational efficiency that we need to bring about in terms of improving our revenues and reducing the cost of operational cost of the country. I therefore, on behalf of the Lagos caucus, will appeal to my colleagues to support our nomination. I so submit, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. Thank you very much.
The minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, our dear nominee, my name is Simon Mwatkon. I'm from Plateau State, and I represent Plateau North. Mr. President, sir, our dear nominee, my question is, from your resume, I noticed that you have done well in the banking and financial industry. And my question is on this issue of shares, banking shares and other company shares. I've noticed a trend in this country that you see a company that is not doing well, and perhaps at a point in time, their shares is just maybe 100 naira. And they will go to the capital market and negotiate and raise the quality of their shares perhaps to 300 or 400 naira, and then go to the capital market and advertise for people to come and buy shares. And at that time, the shareholding will be 300 naira. But after people have gone and they buy shares, the thing will crumble back to 100 money. And nobody will do something to help the people. There are also times, a company will crumble and there's no security for the shareholders. Their money will be lost. I have lost quite a number of money in many banks and also companies. There's no protection for the shareholders. Once the company goes bankrupt, the shareholders would have lost their money. With your knowledge of the banking and the financial industry, what do you think, assuming you are confirmed or screened and confirmed as a minister, what will you do to help poor Nigerians that would have invested their monies in banks or in some companies by buying shares. And the companies perhaps would have come through fraudulent means to advertise those shares, and nothing is done to protect them. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Garba.
Thank you very much, the Senate President sitting in as chair. My name is Garba Musa Maidoki, representing Kebbi South Senatorial District. Lady nominee, I congratulate you, and I congratulate the President for giving females opportunities in his government. We pray, we also agree what men can do, women can do better. So we want to give you the privilege of going to do better in the cabinet. But my concern today is about the banking charges. Somebody, a constituent of mine, sent me a text. You put 100,000 naira in your bank account. In 3 months, you didn't do anything. The charges are taking place. Your money now reduced to about 900,000. You have not transacted any business. Then, then a company that is charging markup for his selling of product, maybe 5 naira, or 3 naira, or 1 naira. If transfer are made to pay him, the bank deduct 5 naira or 3 naira. He's not making any money. Please. Yes, sir.
If you put 100,000 in your bank, 3 months later, you come back and say 900,000. Shouldn't you praise the bank?
I wanted to say 90,000, Your Excellency, 90,000. And Lady nominee, the financial sector is milking Nigerians. Today, your deposit is not secured. You cannot take your money. If you have a domiciliary account, you cannot take your money. You take hard currency and deposit into the bank, and you want to withdraw it, the bank says there is no money because of regulations or issues like that. Generally, let me not bore it. You understand what the problems are. Please, how can you bring SECO? We want to encourage banking to every rural community. Some of them are just receiving 10,000. And if the bank continue making these charges, how can rural banking be encouraged? Thank you very much, Senate President.
Distinguished Senator Ned Mogu.
Thank you, Mr. President. And my distinguished colleagues, my question is a very simple one. As an expert in the banking sector, I've always been concerned about interest rates in Nigeria. The charges, even the banking deposits interest rates, I understand to be about 5 to 6%. But the lending rate is about maybe 20 to 23%. I've always wondered why the government is not able to peg interest rates at a level that is possible for consumers in Nigeria to borrow money.
After all, when you go to other nations, you will see that most of their lending rates is between 1 to 5%. And so everybody can prosper, everybody can borrow to buy whatever they want to buy, whether it's for mortgages or for vehicles or whatever. But the consumers in Nigeria are left to the whims and caprices of the banks. The banks make huge profits at the end of the day. Is there no possibility that a government cannot ensure that banking interest rates are maintained to a barest minimum for the interest of consumers? Thank you, Mr. President.
The nominee, please let us hear you answer those few questions, and then others will still have the opportunity to ask.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Excellency. In response to the distinguished senator's questions on bank charges and interest rates, I'll take those two together. These are determined by central bank. Central bank also takes directives from the presidency and the economy at large. It is determined by the state of these rates are determined by what is currently happening in the country. So if the economy is buoyant, you have better interest rates. If the economy is not buoyant, then the interest rates will be high. So yes, the government will continue to work with central bank and the finance ministry to ensure that these rates are acceptable or they can be accommodated by the general public. It's not technology that determines these rates. It's the economy, the financial system that determines that. Okay. For protection, fraud protection in banks, shareholders, yes, we've all experienced some form of fraud or the other, even personally. Fraud, even though you have automated systems, fraud is perpetrated by individuals, the people. And in our country, we also need to ensure that we do not encourage fraudulent people. When we see that people yesterday are living a simple life and tomorrow they're living an expensive life, we need to ask the right questions. Where did they get the money from? And when we know that they didn't make the money from legitimate means, we also have a responsibility to do the right thing, ask the right thing, because we'll be encouraging it. And with technology, if we have the right kind of database, we will be able to track these people. We have identity management in different buckets. We have them in systems. If we had all of them together, where we consolidate them with the police, we consolidate them with all the various agencies, you'll find that we'll be able to track and monitor these fraudulent people better, and it will reduce. But everywhere in the world we have them. It is just that they have better systems, more efficient, and automated systems where you can trace them. And I am sure that we are going to pay in this country a lot more attention, or we are going to invest in the in technology to ensure that we consolidate our data. Okay. From the very first comment and observation from the distinguished senator, he talked about our youth tech hubs, AI to increase revenue. It's already happening. It's already happening. We have tech hubs in some states, and it's being rolled out. In fact, the truth is that we can't even run fast enough. Our youth are embracing technology a lot faster than we of our own generation. And Mr. President has said that the youth own this country. And so it's going to happen. And in fact, one of the nominees that is going to come and who's come to stand before you will also talk more about his own involvement in this industry. But for AI, virtual reality, these are all the tools that we need today. And I didn't want to be sarcastic, but the truth is that if we had AI now, you probably wouldn't have to sit here all day, because you'll be using them from wherever you are. So yes, it's going to happen.
Distinguished Senator Abiru, and you want to say something? Okay, because I don't want to marginalize the Southwest. Distinguished Senator Wasu.
Thank you, the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, distinguished colleagues. I rise today to first and foremost admit that Lola Adejohn voted for me. She is from my constituency, and she is a proper and a fit person to occupy the ministerial position in the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I still remain Wasiu Sonny Eshinlokun. I want to say that our nomination has come as a beacon of hope for our women and also other genders alike. His unwavering commitment has been noted, and we love all of this. We believe that she will be a paragon of success. She will break barriers and one of those who add value. As you all know, the digital economy, the blue economy are what we will enjoy in the next few decades. It is my belief that with Madam Lola Adejohn, the deployment of IT will be for positive use, and it will enhance our economy. I do not want to throw her under the bus and say, please continue to ask questions. Please allow my people go. Thank you very much.
My distinguished brother, Cyril.
The Senate President, sitting this afternoon as chair, distinguished colleagues, very few of us are familiar with the nominee before you. And I'm also shocked when you call her Madam Lola Adejohn, because the woman standing before you likes to be called Lola. My paths crossed with Lola Adejohn as a banker in 1998, Access Bank, to be very specific. I was a banker. And this woman standing before me was my boss. I wasn't working under her. This woman standing before Nigerians in the entire banking industry, 98% of heads of IT are men. She's one of the few in Nigeria that heads IT department in banks. You can see her CV from Shell to Magnum Trust to Access Bank. That was where I met her. This afternoon when I saw her, I was shocked. It is just for all of us. Let me tell you, it is, yes, positive shock. It is just for all of us to remember one thing in life, that our paths can still cross in the future. And whatever you do today, you are going to repeat tomorrow. Lola Adejohn was a nice AGM when we were in Access Bank. She was a very good person. She never discriminates. She respects everybody. I can continue. Mr. President, she is an uncommon lady. a technology guru. I am also shocked when a lot of us ask questions. In the banking industry, Lola is not a front office trade, investment or something are meant for front office, like Tokumbo Abiru, like myself. We were commercial bankers. We could answer you better. But these are the people that secure your funds in the bank to ensure that there is no fraud. Let Lola plead. Senate President, sir, distinguished colleagues, we need Lola in this government. We need a Lola. Lola left UI as a second-class hopper in real department that a lot of us will find difficult to pass through. Computer science. Lola is brilliant. Lola is good. Let Lola go. Let Lola breathe. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues and distinguished nominee, your subordinate, your staff, has just said, let Lola go. You need to know that if we let you go, that means you are not going to be a minister. So it's important that we screen you for the president instead of just telling you to go back home. I think that's our job here. So distinguished Senator Idiot, as a gender-friendly Senate, we should give you an opportunity to ask a question.
Well, the Senate President, distinguished colleagues, I am Idiat Oluroti Adebule. I represent the good people of Lagos West. And I'm happy to see Mrs. Lola standing before us. Well done, my sister. Congratulations on your nomination as the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Well, as a technology solution expert of many years of experience, decades of experience, I want to advise that by the grace of God, if you're confirmed, I will advise that please pay special attention to our civil service. We need technology to drive the civil service for effectiveness. And that will be something that I will be so glad to see you doing by the grace of God. We cannot all be seated here, assuming that all is well out there. A lot still needs to be corrected. And that is why Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has nominated you as one of the ministers of the Federal Republic. Therefore, a lot rests on your shoulder, and the good Lord will guide you. Thank you. And on that note, Your Excellency, permit me, may I crave your indulgence to allow Lola Adejon to take her leave of the Senate. Thank you.
Distinguished colleagues, the last three speakers did not really ask any question. So I don't think there's any question before Lola. Is it the view of the Senate that Lola be allowed to take a bow and take leave of the Senate? Yes. Those who are in support say aye. Aye. Those who are against say nay. The ayes have it. The nominee may now take leave of the Senate. Yes. Distinguished colleagues, we have a nominee before us. In the person of Dr. Bosun Tijani, right? Can you just give us a brief resume of yourself and thereafter answer questions from distinguished senators?
Your Excellency, the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio. Your Excellency, the Deputy Senate President, Senator Jibrin Barao. Distinguished members of the Senate leadership. A very special recognition for the distinguished senators from my home state. Senator Shuaib Afolabi Salisu, Senator Olamilekan Adeola, and His Excellency, Senator Otunba Gbenga Daniel, and of course, all other distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. My name is Dr. Olatunbo Suntijani. I'm from Itoko in Abeokuta South local government area of Ogun State. I was born in Agege, Lagos State, and happily married with 3 kids. I stand before this esteemed chamber today, humbled and honored by the trust reposed in me by His Excellency the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, as a ministerial nominee of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to Mr. President for nominating me to serve in this crucial capacity, and to the Senate for giving me the opportunity to present myself for screening. My journey into public service has been driven by a deep-rooted passion for our great nation and an unyielding commitment to its progress. Throughout my career, I have been privileged to witness firsthand the untapped potential and boundless possibilities that Nigeria holds. However, I'm also acutely aware of the challenges that lie ahead of us. And it is with this sense of purpose and determination that I present myself before you today. At this point, I would like to share a bit of context as to who I am and what I can contribute in support of Mr. President's agenda, of course subject to your confirmation. Academically, I hold a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Jos, a master's degree in information systems and management from Warwick Business School, and a doctorate degree in innovation and economic development from the University of Leicester in the UK. In addition, I've also attended several executive and professional courses in innovation, leadership, and economic development from institutions such as the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, Stanford University, and the Africa Leadership Institute. I am a fellow of the Center for Democracy, Development, and Rule of Law at the prestigious Stanford University, and I'm also a Desmond Tutu Leadership Fellow. At the minute, I'm an adjunct researcher focused on digital epidemiology at the Nigerian Institute of Medical Research, and also an adjunct researcher with the Wits School of Governance in South Africa. With focus on driving the application of knowledge for enterprise and economic prosperity, my career path has taken me through roles with the International Trade Center in Switzerland, with Hewlett-Packard also in Switzerland, and Pera Innovation Network in the UK. I returned to Nigeria to co-found Co-Creation Hub in 2010 as Nigeria's first technology innovation hub, which has now grown from Yaba to become the largest technology hub in Africa, with physical presence in Kenya, Rwanda, and Namibia. We also deliver projects and activities that reaches over 17 countries in Africa. I've also been privileged to offer my service in support of critical industry advisory groups in Nigeria and abroad, including as a member of the Presidential Advisory Group on Technology and Creativity, also as a member of the UK Advisory Committee on Digital Access Africa, as an advisor and committee member to the National Economic Summit Group on Science and Technology, as a current member of the Project Steering Committee of Lagos State Government Technology Cluster for Yaba, and more recently as a member of the Expert Advisory Group to the European Commission on mainstreaming technology and innovation in the relationship between Africa and Europe. I believe and care deeply about the potential of Nigeria as a prosperous country that is driven by innovation. This has been a strong motivating factor in all I do, and I've spent the last 15 years contributing to deepening the technology innovation ecosystem in Nigeria and Africa through extensive collaboration with some of the world's largest technology companies and development agencies. I'm particularly passionate about enabling and supporting homegrown solutions to some of the most critical challenges in sectors like education, public health, agriculture, trade, and governance. An expression of this can be seen in my support to the work of young entrepreneurs like Temigiwa Tumbosun of LifeBank, Ifedara Johnson of Health Tracker, Preston Ide of Stairs, Inyolu Aboyeji of Andela and Flutterwave, Jumoke Dada of Taylor, Hio Isudeme of OnePort, and also Tega Iotim of Figure, among so many others. It is my conviction that we must prioritize the role of technology and innovation in raising the productivity level, financial services, manufacturing, agriculture, transportation, security to our GDP. Many of the prosperous nations that we admire have been built on a strong foundation for innovation. We are a blessed nation with significant young population, which is a critical resource for harnessing the opportunities offered by technology and innovation in support of Mr. President's stated goal of building a prosperous Nigeria for all. My commitment to His Excellency, Mr. President, to you distinguished senators, and indeed all Nigerians, is to give my best with the same passion and conviction that I've demonstrated all my life to achieve the President's economic and prosperity agenda. I look forward to working with all stakeholders across government and the organized private sector to provide intentional support that empowers the best of our young population so they can continue to contribute to the achievement of the prosperous, inclusive, peaceful society that we all desire. Thank you, distinguished senators, for your time today as I look forward to working with you all to achieve our collective goals for our great nation, Nigeria. God bless His Excellency the President, and long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Distinguished Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari.
Mr. President, sitting at the chair, distinguished colleague, Buhari Abdul Fattah, Oyo North. Dr. Bosun, congratulations. I have two questions for you. Number one, on the 29th of July, 2019, you tweeted against the passport and citizens of Nigeria. Do you still believe in that, your tweet today? That's number one. Number two, when you look at your CV, your certificate, that's the O level, and the primary school certificate, they are not there. And even your first degree, you came with a testimonial that was issued 20 years ago. So how did you get admission into University of Jos? One. Number two, what happened to your certificate? How have you not taken it since 20 years ago that you have given that testimonial? Thank you.
Please take that first question again. Take the first question. Yes, take it because many senators did not hear you.
Thank you, Mr. President. On the 21st of July, 2019, Dr. Bosun tweeted against a tweet against Nigeria that it does not appreciate the Nigerian passport and Nigeria as a nation. My question now is that, yes, the Nigerian passport and Nigeria as a nation. Let me quote it exactly from the way you put it. Nigeria is a bloody expensive tag to have against your name. Leave patriotism for a minute. That tag is bloody waste of time and energy, but a country. End of quote. So the question now is that this tweet, does he still have belief in it, or he has changed his mind about the country now? That's the question. Because when he was reading his resume, he was giving patriotism of how he served, blah, 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 blah. If he has changed now, I just wanted to know, and I want Nigerians to know, because, Mr. President, in the last 2-3 days, his case has been on and off in Nigeria. That it has been trending, in Nigeria. So the issue now is that, do you still believe in what you said in 2019, or you have changed your mind about the country? That's just all.
Well, I think the corollary to that question will be that he will answer which nationality is standing here now. Because if he's saying that it's a bloody waste of time to have a Nigerian passport or to be a Nigerian, so coming here, it's possible that he may not even be here as a Nigerian. So when he's going to answer, that question, he will also tell us whether he's here as a Nigerian or whether he has taken another country's citizenship. Distinguished Senator Issa Jibrin.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I am Issa Jibrin, representing the very good people of Kogi East. Well, I'm taken aback by Buhari's comments, but I will still go ahead with what I intend to say, because he needs to really clear himself of all these allegations first. But having said that, and assuming he clears himself, he is an IT person. Your Excellency, there are so many inefficiencies within the government sector, especially in the areas of revenue collections. Okay. should clear it first. It's okay.
Ask that question from the
Okay.
Nigerian. Ask the question from the Nigerian.
No, please use your seat. The distinguished Senator Solomon Adiola Olamileko. Yeah, you are from Ogun State. The nominee is from Ogun State. So, am I right? Huh? Okay. So, before he answers, maybe as an elder in the Senate, you may wish to educate us whether he's actually Nigerian before he confirms it.
Mr. President, very, very
Mr. President, sitting as chair, my name is Mohamed Ogoshionao. I represent Nasarawa South. I come under Order 10. And with the permission of the chair, I might want to read the privilege. Any senator may rise at any time to speak upon a matter of privilege suddenly arising, and he shall be prepared to move without a notice a motion declaring that a contempt of or breach of privilege has been committed. I want the Senate President's attention. Sir, yes, sir. The question the chair put before the nominee as to the nationality that he belongs, that he's standing here, must be answered first before we go on, because answering any other thing apart from that one will be a breach of my privilege and the privilege of this chamber. So he must declare whether he is still a Nigerian or he is coming from another country. Thank you very much.
Stop. Abu, stop.
Point of order is sustained. Nominee, please go ahead and answer the question whether you are still a Nigerian and whether the tweet came from you. Then from there we proceed. First, I want to put on record that we are very appreciative. We are very appreciative of Mr. President for discovering talents like you and bringing you to the fore, and particularly for giving the opportunity to very young people. If it's something that you did because you were very young, and now you are getting a bit older, you let us know. And if you are still a Nigerian, let us know. But we believe you have impeccable credentials, and we are very impressed that young people are being given opportunity to join this government. So don't get us wrong. We just want to know whether you are from Sierra Leone or some other place, since Nigeria is not good. Please go on.
Thank you, Your Excellency, the Senate President. Thank you also for bringing up this issue, distinguished Senator Buhari. I'm going to ask that you please listen to everything I say as if I'm your son, because I will speak from my heart, and everything I'll say today can be proven. I've spent the last 15 years of my life going all across the world, looking for people to support young people who believe they can use technology to help lift this country forward. I've done this in so many ways, very loud and subtle. One of the most subtle things I've done is that since founding my company, we've opened now in 4 countries. And every time you get to the lobby of our office in this country, you will see an artwork there. And embedded in that artwork is the flag of Nigeria. Embedded in that artwork. If you go to the Kigali in Rwanda today, you will find that. If you go to Nairobi, you will find it. If you go to Namibia, you will find it. Everywhere we go. In 2019, as a sequel to something I did with Google, the business I do, which is to support young people to build businesses, require that they raise money. And the ability to raise money relies on the ability to attract investors from abroad. And I did everything possible to build a company that is fully domiciled in Nigeria. In the technology space, people had to domicile their businesses in Nigeria. I domiciled that business in Nigeria. In 2019, we decided to improve Nigeria's opportunity to be able to raise more money, that we need to be doing a tour of the whole world. But we didn't want to do it just as Nigeria, but as Africa. So I opened up 15 slots. This whole trip was paid for by Google. Nothing came to my pocket. We gave about 8 slots to Nigerians. Because I have a second citizen, which is a British passport, I was in the UK, and I was trying to apply for my Chinese visa because I did not need visa to every other country. I got to the embassy, and I was told that it would take me 2 days to get my Chinese visa. I was excited. And the gentleman said, "What do you do? Where's your pay slip?" I said, "I run my business." He says, "We have to see your bank account statement." I said, "I'm happy to provide it, but my business is fully domiciled in Nigeria." The moment I mentioned Nigeria, the gentleman said they have to do a special check on me, and it was going to take minimum 2 weeks. In anger, I tweeted what you read, which was paraphrased wrongly. One, I've also been given a taste of what young people have been doing to all of you as well, which is the tweet you read is just the first part of that tweet. The second part specifically mentioned that for us to lift this country up, we must find a way to correct our image, to project positive image. Because I don't want my 2 young girls to grow up because they're going to be proud Nigerians. I don't want them to grow up to experience the same thing. This is something that can be proven. What they've given to you, sir, is just a screenshot of the first one, which is convenient. I'm very passionate about Nigeria, very. As I'm standing in front of you, I've just closed a business that I've been working on for 2 years, which is going to support 36 Nigerian entrepreneurs with 65 million naira to build technology that is specifically focused on education. I do not do this because of my pocket. I'm standing here with you today because people know me for the work I've done, not because of my father or mother, because they're both late. I do not have political connections. I am extremely passionate about Nigeria. What it takes for Mark Zuckerberg to say I'm going to Africa for the first time, and before meeting anybody, it was me he came to, was a lot of due diligence on my passion and interest. What it took for the founder of Twitter to come and meet me as a leader when I wasn't recommended was for my passion and interest. And just a couple of weeks ago, when Mr. President was inaugurated, Bill Gates was in Nigeria to speak to the young people about the hope and opportunities that exist in this country. I was the one who hosted him. It was nationally televised. And it gave a lot of hope to our young people. I am not what is being represented online. I might have said things out of passion and support for young people. On this matter, lastly, because I support a lot of young people, we give them opportunity to come to Yaba to learn software development, to build businesses of their own. So I used to spend almost 30–40% of my time going to look for ways to bail young people out of police station because they were found with laptops in their bags, not because there was any evidence to show that these people are fraudulent people. It was out of this anger and frustration. How can I be trying my best to uplift my country and I'm spending my energy doing things that is impossible? Lastly, I've worked with a lot of people locally as well, just to find so many resources and opportunity. I've worked with a very rich person here who's created a fund that is backing people in Nigeria and across Africa to do their businesses. I do not have stake in all these businesses. These are businesses that I truly believe will uplift the country, and that's why I do what I do. So Senator Buhari, please, I urge you that give me the opportunity to show you the entire tweet that has been passed on to you. That is not me.
So, Dr. Bozun Tijani, You are saying that when you came out of the Chinese embassy, you were a bit disappointed with the way the image of Nigeria was being, ridiculed by international communities. But since then, that you have made efforts to correct the image. You brought Bill Gates to Nigeria. You brought Sugar Bar. That's the father of Facebook to Nigeria, and you are doing a lot of things to encourage Nigerians to go into the IT business and also to make money from there to sustain themselves. And you are very determined to make sure that your two children grow up to be proud of their identity as Nigerians, and that what you have suffered internationally should not be meted out to them, and that the image of this country must be corrected. And so when the president gave you this opportunity, you are very happy that this is now even a higher platform for you to come in and help to change that image and also help to empower a lot of young Nigerians. Let me recognize another young Nigerian to say something. Senator Abu.
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting at chair. You will live long, Mr. President. God bless you. Mr. President, sitting at chair, a few days ago, I commended the President of Nigeria for nominating many women into his cabinet. He kept his promise. Most of these women, if you look at their average age, 39 years, average. If you put all of them together, divide their age, give it 37 to 39 years. A young man is also standing before us today. In line with Mr. President's promise to young Nigerians that he will be part of my government, and he brought a young man. Look at his dressing, Mr. President, green and white. That is Nigerian. He came with Nigerian flag because of his passion for this country. Mr. President will not lie to you. Let me speak in pidgin English. Sometimes this country, they choke. They choke us. Mr. President, a few days ago, I was coming back from Kenya on the assignment that this parliament sent me. When I landed at Addis Ababa International Airport, I saw Nigerians being hoarded by a corner, denied flight. I came out of the line, and I asked the immigration people there, why are you keeping these people without them boarding a plane? They told me I should go back to my line. I removed my diplomatic passport. I said, I'm a diplomat. I want to know why they are not boarding the flight. The moment they saw my international passport, red passport, they directed me to a seat, and I sat down there. What I'm saying, I'm on live television. Some Nigerians were in that flight, and they saw me when I left my queue. And I found out what they did. And I told them, give me back these Nigerians, let me take them to my country and hand them to immigration in my country. Most of them, Mr. President, they were treated in such a manner because they are using green passport. Sometimes, when young people tweet what they tweet and they express their frustration on social media, I want you to know that we are doing this out of the love that we have for this country. Not that we hate this country. We have nowhere to go. This is our country. This is an orphan, without a father, without a mother, without a godfather, recognized by the president for his work and presented to serve. Most of these young people who are leaving the country, Mr. President is telling them, come back. Don't be insulted us from America. Don't be insulted us from England. Come back, Nigeria, let's build this country together. And that's why Mr. President nominated him to come back home and offer this country. We commend Mr. President for the love that he has for youth, for women, and his vision for a new Nigeria. Colleagues, please, I beg you as a young person, when you see us sometimes you express passion, support us as your sons, as your daughters. Don't use our age against us. Use our age to see that we help this country. I beg colleagues, this boy is very intelligent, Take a bow and go, please.
Honestly, Senator Abu, you know, you will agree with me that this Senate has been very kind to you. In spite of all the noise you make in the Senate, we tolerate you because we recognize the youthfulness in you. I'm very proud of your speech today. The two Senator Solomon Adiola or Lami Lekon, this is your citizen. Say something and let him come forward and take leave of the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very distinguished colleague. Let me start by thanking Mr. President for identifying yet another talented Nigerian. Mr. President, let me commend the nominee for one thing. For the fact that he admitted that yes, that tweet emanated from him, and the intention surrounding that tweet was not in any way to disparage or destroy Nigeria as a country, but out of sheer frustration that he encountered in the Chinese embassy. The only area that I strongly believe he will have added to this is sharing his experience in the Chinese embassy with Nigerians, so that it will give us a platform for us as a government to call on the Chinese embassy to ask why Nigerians is being treated this way. Yes, sir. But for hiding that and tweeting out of sheer frustration is one area that I am not in support of. But Mr. President, distinguished colleague, Bosun Tijani standing before us, a Nigerian, an IT guru, somebody in his opening remarks has shown how technology can be used to improve our economy. An economist by academics, an IT guru by profession. Mr. President, distinguished colleague, you will quite agree with me that a country that is not fintech compliance at this time and age should know that he is yet to overcome many, many challenges that is confronting that nation. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, someone that Nigeria never believed can throw up somebody like Bosun Tijani, a 46-year-old Nigerian, 41-year-old Nigerian going 42, to be a minister of the Federal Republic, is doing it again. And that was how he started in Lagos. He discovered Bosun when Bosun was 42. He discovered me when I was less than 30. When you are 41, Asiwaju discovered you. He discovered me when I was less than 30 years. And today, I have kept the flag flying. Yes, sir. That is the generation that Asiwaju believes in. And these are the future of Nigeria. I want to plead with my colleague that irrespective of the shortcomings of Bosun Tijani, let's take it as useful exorbitant. And he's here before us to tell us that he has the solution. He has what it takes to contribute to the development of this country. And he has decided to leave his businesses and leave his connection in the IT world to come and add value to the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I want to plead with my colleague that don't let us throw away the baby and the water. The man has appealed before us, and he has accepted to the fact, and even go ahead, I don't know, he has apologized. Okay. Maybe in his submission. He has not even committed anything according to his submission. But out of his sheer frustration, he has explained. My dear colleague, I plead with you that to please, okay, I apologize on his behalf. and says that we should allow Mr. Bosu Tijani, a born Ogun State indigene, to take a bow and go. Thank you, Mr. President.
Wait. Please, the minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Order!
Thank you, distinguished colleagues. Mr. President, I want to join all other senators that have spoken to congratulate our dear President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, for selecting young Nigerians to also be part of his cabinet, especially the women and the youths. With regards to our brother, Dr. Boston, congratulations. But Mr. President, I wish to advise this young man that there are times, no matter the level of our frustration, we must be cautious with what we write on the social media. I'm saying this because I have another tweet from him, which was written by him by 10:05 p.m. in April 21st, 2021. With the kind permission of Mr. President, I would like to read this tweet. He said, "Who conducted a security check on him when he was appointed? What sort of checks are done by at the Nigerian Senate when they confirm appointees and the media? Question for another day. Until we ask the right questions, these morons will continue to take us for granted." Mr. President, sir. Mr. President, I want to Mr. President, like I said earlier, order! This is a young man who is well read. I want to ask, having come from my alma mater, I'm also from the University of Jos, and I've taught there in University of Jos for 15 years. I find it very difficult to believe that a graduate of University of Jos will write this on the personality of the Nigerian Senate. I want to ask, sir, are you the author of this tweet or not? Thank you.
Well, the Senate leader.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I have a perspective to share with our distinguished colleagues. And I have a perspective to share with Nigerians, especially those among our youth who in the last 48 hours, since the name of Dr. Bosun Tijani was sent to this hallowed chamber as a ministerial nominee, our youth are divided on this matter. There are some who are supporting him. There are some who are also sharing other tweets from him similar to those that have been read out here. The truth about it is, beyond these two tweet messages, there are some other ones being shared online. And what is the underlying thing here? And what is the perspective that I want to share? Consider the dates of these tweets and recall the events that took place in Nigeria some of my own children and some of our own children were all part of the streets, standing before us, sir, is an end-SARS protester, if you can so classify him. That is the truth about it. My own daughter, who was not born in Nigeria, I didn't hide my family in the US. I didn't take my family out of Nigeria after I came into public service. I was in the US doing my master's degree. I was there practicing as an attorney when I gave birth to my own children. So they were not born here. But when my daughter was done schooling, she told me she wanted to come to Nigeria for her national service, and I was very glad. My daughter joined the End SARS protests. Around the same time, all these tweets were going on. Very many of our own children asked us questions. Mr. President, I need your protection. All I'm trying to do is share a perspective. The same president, these are the issues for me. Number one, an End SARS protester who believed he was a spokesperson for his own generation, today has come to see the need to join hands with us to build this nation and bring all those ideas around which they organize protests on board to further build Nigeria and rebrand Nigeria. That's number one. More importantly, number two, the same President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a citizen as he then was, not in any official position, who was accused or alleged as having taken soldiers to Toll Gate Plaza in Lagos to shoot NSA protesters, is the one who today, by the grace of God, as President and Commander-in-Chief of Nigeria, has sent Dr. Bosun Tijani as a nominee to this chamber, because he also believes that they have something to offer. So let's look at it from all these perspectives and know that this man standing before us did what any of our children could have done. At that point, based on their own understanding of what was going on, he portrayed a scenario of how most of the people he was struggling to help were being arrested by the police because they had laptops in their bags, not because they were criminals. Let us remember what happened in this country. We need to move on with this generation. We need to put this behind us. So, of course, if he said anything that he shouldn't have said, he's here to apologize. That's not the problem. But let's take it beyond that and be less emotional about this issue. But we must protect the integrity of this institution. I agree, with our colleagues who are saying this. And our own youth must also learn from this, that even in the face of anger or protest, you must mind the language that you use. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
Well, let me, just before I listen to any other thing, let me point out the distinguished leader of the Senate, that even if it was that your child that came before us here, that child will still face the same questions. The questions being asked are not, nobody, I don't think any of them has ever met him. I don't think any person here has any objection to his nomination. And I don't think anybody here is against him. We are rather appreciative of Mr. President's choice. However, sometimes the past has a way of following us. And I think we can make progress. I will give you an example. The National Digital Economy Policy and Strategy 2020 to 2023 that involves ICT parks, entrepreneurship, innovators, youth empowerment, which will break it down to solid infrastructure, soft infrastructure, service infrastructure. All these policies, he was part of those who developed these policies that he believes can empower young people. When Mr. President was coming on board at Eagle Square, I said that I learned a lot from him when he was governor. I turned boys into men. as a governor in my state, and that he will come if he won the election to be president in Nigeria, that he will turn a lot of Nigerian boys into men. I think this is one of such. Now, if we sit here for the next 5 minutes, somebody will bring out another very derogatory tweet from him, whether it was done in the heat of anger or whether it was in collaboration with your child, I wouldn't know. But the major thing there is that he has a very good opportunity on live television to tender apologies to his elders for his youthful exuberance and his mistakes, that we move on. Dr. Tijani, Dr. Bozun Tijani, this last tweet and many others that will come, like the one you called your elders. Look at somebody like Senator Gumel. I'm sure he was in the Senate there when you said that he was a maroon. So do you still believe that senators are maroons? Or do you have an apology to make? If you can tender an apology, we can move on. And then if you also believe now in your Nigeria, we can still move on.
Your Excellency, Senate President, and also distinguished senators. Distinguished senators. I was raised properly as a Yoruba boy, both in Agege and Abeokuta, so I do understand that we're not meant to disrespect our elders, and that's not the training that we're given. My father probably won't be proud of me for all these allegations, but one thing he'll be proud of as well is that the passion that led me to those mistakes has also given me the opportunity to contribute to the development of this country. So I want to profusely apologize to everyone in this hall, including anyone anywhere in Nigeria that may have been offended about everything I said. I ask that you please, in the process of accepting my apology, that you look at the undertone of everything I've said. I didn't say it to spite. I said it out of frustration and love. So please accept my sincere apologies, please.
Off the mic. Off the mic. Off the mic. Distinguished senators, distinguished colleagues, we have before us a young Nigerian Senator
Distinguished senators, yes. Distinguished senator, please again accept my apology if I went too far in explaining. I'm absolutely sorry for everything I've said. I'm sorry.
Distinguished senators, we are all fathers, except for Senator Jimmy Kuta, who is not yet married. We are all fathers, and our children do err. We cannot throw the baby with the bad water away. We recognize his intellect. We recognize his contribution. We thank Mr. President for being a forgiving father, despite all these tweets. And I think on behalf of the Senate, I want to accept your apology and keep up the good work of creating opportunities for young people to grow, so that they will not have the kind of anger that led you to make all those tweets. Your apologies are accepted. Congratulations on your nomination. You may now step forward, take a bow, and leave.
Point of order, Mr. President. No, not on this matter. Not on this matter. Not on this matter. Point of order. Yeah?
Point of order. Yes, sir.
Mr. Nominee, Clerk, that is Salako Adekunle Adeboye, right? Welcome to the Senate. We are only doing confirmation screening. We are not doing approvals and confirmation yet. So ours is just to ask questions, note, look at your CVs, evaluate everything about you, your personnel, your life details, and every other thing. And thereafter, the Senate will still go into further sitting on confirmation and approvals. So this is just screening. So please, let's not exhaust all our bullets. If you have anything against any nominee, when we are going into the confirmation and the approvals, before we forward to Mr. President and Commander-in-Chief, you still have a right to bring it up. From your resume, give us very brief summary. And please, let's just use 5 minutes or 3 minutes to give us a brief summary of your resume, your person, where you were born, and if you don't know the name of your village, say so. And thereafter, you answer questions from the civil senators.
Your Excellency, the President of the 10th Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Distinguished Senator Godswill Obot Akpabio, the Deputy Senate President, principals officers of the 10th Senate. Mr. President, sir, please permit me to recognize the 3 senators from my state, Ogun State, starting from the senator that is representing me as a constituent of Ogun State, Ogun West Senatorial District, Senator Solomon Olamilekan Adeola, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Appropriation. Also to recognize the senator representing Ogun East Senatorial District, who was governor of Ogun State when I had the privilege of serving as commissioner in Ogun State, Senator Engineer Otumba Gbenga Daniel. Also to recognize the senator representing Ogun Central Senatorial District, my big Egbon, Senator Shuaib Afolabi Salis. Distinguished senators, I want to use this opportunity to also thank Mr. President, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Commander-in-Chief, for giving me this opportunity, and to also thank my political leaders in Ogun State, particularly my governor, the governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, CON, and also a former governor of Ogun State, Aremo Olusegun Oshoba. My presence here today, Mr. Senate President, is like breaking a jinx. By nominating me, the President of Nigeria, and my governor have broken a jinx, because since the inception of this democracy, this is the first time somebody from my senatorial district will have the opportunity of being nominated to be a minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And in the history of Nigeria, under democratic rule, this is the second time ever. So what Mr. President and my governor has demonstrated is to show that when they talk about inclusivity, it is not only about political leaning. It is about the diversity in Nigeria, everybody being given a voice. And I would like to thank Mr. President and the governor for this opportunity. I also want to thank the Senate, sir, because I know that most Senates in the world, most parliaments in the world, are on recess. But this Senate have decided to shelve their recess to treat this matter. I want to sincerely appreciate the Senate. Once again, my name is Salako Isiaq Adekunle Adeboye. I was born 56 years ago, precisely on the 8th of August, 1967, in Ayetoro, Yewa North local government of Ogun State. I am a full homegrown boy. I have studied all my life, all my school in Nigeria. I believe passionately in Nigeria. I believe that Nigeria is a gift to the black race, and that everybody must join hands to make Nigeria great. I have never conceived and I've never attempted to travel out of Nigeria because I believe in this country. My primary education was at the United Primary School at Ayetoro, after which I proceeded to the prestigious Abeokuta Grammar School for my secondary education. I then went to the then Ogun State Polytechnic, now Moshood Abiola Polytechnic, for my advanced level, before going to the prestigious University of Lagos, where I studied medicine and surgery. While a student in University of Lagos, I was a student leader, and I participated actively in all student political activities. I was president of my faculty. I was a parliamentarian of the University of Lagos Student Union. I was very active. After my student days, I did my internship at the Lagos University Teaching Hospital before I was posted to the old Abia State for my National Youth Service. While doing National Youth Service, I volunteered for the Nigerian Guinea Worm Eradication Program, for which I was given an award by the NYC Abia State as one of the top 10 coppers of that year. I also got the Presidential Golden Handshake Award of President Jimmy Carter of the United States. After my university education, I started my working career in some private hospitals before I was also employed at the Lagos State Health Service Commission. And then after a while, I resigned and started my private practice before I was appointed as a commissioner in Ogun State, where I had the opportunity to serve in 3 strategic ministries. The 3 most important ministries, in my opinion, that takes care of food, agriculture, takes care of housing, shelter, that is housing, and that takes care of health. I performed to the best of my activity in those ministries before the end of that government, and I then went back into private practice. In 2020, The governor of Ogun State, Prince Dapo Abiodun, also gave me the opportunity to be the chairman of the Ogun State Hospitals Management Board, where I also performed to the best of my activity. I'm a master degree holder in public health, and I'm currently pursuing a PhD program in public health with specialization in health policy and management. I believe strongly that the health sector of Nigeria is challenged, but our solutions must be contextualized. It must reflect our peculiarities as Nigerians. We cannot just import. Yes, we have a lot of things to learn from health systems all over the world, but our own health system must reflect our peculiarities. We need a lot of funding in the health sector, but what do we want to spend the fund for? It must be well defined and well itemized so that we spend optimally to the greater good of our people. At the moment, our health structure, our health system is basically focused on curative care, and we need to do a lot more with prevention. Thank you very much, Mr. President, sir.
Senator Izonazo.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, sitting as chair. My name is Senator Osita Izunaso. I represent Imo West. Mr. Nominee, congratulations for being the first person from your senatorial zone to be so nominated. I'm interested in your CV. I've gone through it and I've seen a lot of things that you have done, both in the private sector and in the public sector. Particularly of interest is the fact that you are doing your PhD right now on health policy and management. But my worry is about NHIS, National Health Insurance Scheme, which we started about 25 years ago. And the overall aim of it is to provide financial barrier for families to have access to health care. But is our NHS, is it really working? Because if you have a medical emergency now and you are rushed to the hospital, you might not be treated if you don't pay money. So if you are made a minister for health, what are those reforms that you are going to bring to bear so that we can make the NHIS more workable and more affordable for Nigerians?
Thank you, Mr. Senate President, sitting as chair, for the opportunity given to me to talk, and my distinguished senators. Jide Ipinjagba is my name, from Ondo North Senatorial District. I have to congratulate you for being nominated. And at the same time, I can predict that you might find yourself in the Ministry of Health. Now, my major concern is this. I want to talk about the local content. Local content has been very, very successful in the oil and gas section. But coming into the medical line, you can see our people selling the herb sellers. The Yoruba call these people that they sell agbo in Yoruba language. Now, when you get outside the country, you find out that they will import some materials into Nigeria, package it very well, under the umbrella of food supplements. and we will be buying them. Now, how will you moderate this when you find yourself in that position so that we can also make money from the selling of those things in Nigeria instead of condemning them that they are not good enough, they will disturb your kidney and your liver. Meanwhile, this same thing was what our forefathers were living on, and you cannot compare their age, their ages with what they have today. So I want to advise or ask you, if you find yourself in that ministry, how will you encourage these people to develop that skill into where we can make use of it productively in Nigeria? Secondly, this is a question to you for learning purpose. Now, in the course, I can see your CV very robust. I want to ask, what has been your greatest strength in the course of carrying out all these assignments? And lastly, what has been your greatest weakness in the process of carrying out this responsibility? Thank you very much.
Distinguished Sadiku.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, first I want to start by congratulating the nominee and also appreciate Mr. President for keep supplying us with credible nomination up to this moment. Mr. Nominee, my questions borders especially on the inadequate working tools in our hospitals. You can see also that we have not just poor services, but we have poor distribution of available workforce. And recently, in Lagos, we lost a medical doctor to an unavoidable incidents. So is this now becoming a culture in our hospitals that even the maintenance of the existing infrastructure are becoming a problem? So what are you going to profile as a medical doctor going in to contribute to the workforce of the Federal Executive Council that can make or supply the needed solution to some of these challenges? It is not just in Lagos, but because it happened to a medical doctor last week, it became a news. So I need your answer. Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Tony Way.
Thank you, my president, sitting at chair. Distinguished colleagues, my name is Dr. Tony Nwoye, representing the people of Anambra Central District. Let me start by thanking Mr. President for appointing this man, a colleague of mine, senior colleague of mine for that matter. And let me thank Mr. President sincerely that this year marks, or this section marks, a departure because of the very fact this is the cabinet that has the highest number of doctors, if they are confirmed, from what I read. But I have a question, two questions, simple. Dr. Salaku, knowing fully well, having read your resume, knowing fully well that your own brother, Professor Olukoya Ransom Kuti, of the blessed memory, was adjured as one of the best health ministers Nigeria has ever produced. This man built our health system around the primary health care system. And he instituted the National Primary Health Care Agency in 1988. That was the year he launched it. And used 52 local governments in Nigeria as a model to test run it. And today, our primary health care is not only built on that, but is deteriorating every day. What are you going to do if by God's grace this Senate confirms you
and the minister assigns you portfolio as other health minister or minister of state, what are you going to do to revamp our ailing health sector, and also to recognize universal health coverage, which is a global issue, vis-a-vis bringing that model, that initiative Professor Olukoya Ransom Kuti of blessed memory brought, so that we can go near achieving aim. That is number one. Number two is that if you are confirmed as a Minister of Federal Republic of Nigeria and you are assigned the portfolio of Minister of Health, either as Minister of State or as the cabinet ranking, which is senior minister, what are you going to do about the global brain drain? What I'm asking about global brain drain, that when we were in medical school, we used to hear that young doctors will travel to London, Germany, America, Saudi Arabia to look for greener pastures. But these days, professors, consultants, medical personnel, pharmacists, even PhD people who had PhD in pharmacy, nurses, midwives, consultants of different degrees, optometrists, and other medical, very senior ones, still travel abroad, abandon our country to look for greener pasture. What are you going to do to stop this ugly trend? Thank you, Mr. President.
Distinguished Senator Benson Ebowe.
Your Excellency, the President of the Senate, and my distinguished colleagues, I want to ask the nominee, looking at where I come from, I am from the place that is considered the most remotest of all the places in Nigeria, and so cut off from the events that are happening in the midstream of Nigeria. Now, we are discussing about health issues as it's relating to your resume. I want to just simply ask, as so disadvantaged as I am, and so displaced and mismanaged by Nigeria, in the event this Senate confirms you, will you be able to identify where I come from by way of policy and inclusiveness? Sir, where I come from, if you want to know, is just by the Atlantic Ocean. We share boundaries with America. We share boundaries with America, but very far from America. As I speak, for me to get to my village, I have to be covered under waterproof on a speedboat before I get there. Just this morning, I had a phone call from a woman that was delivering and could not deliver. And they have been trying to bring her to Yenangwa. And that will amount to 1 hour, 30 minutes before they will get to Yenangwa. This is what we suffer. How will you be able to attend to these issues in the riverine where I come from? Thank you, Mr. President. So that I will be very close to America.
Thank you, Mr. President, sitting as a chair.
Use your mic, please.
Congratulate you on the nomination by Mr. President. Going by your resume, most likely, when you are confirmed by this distinguished Senate, you might be taking care of or you will be leading in the health sector. My question to you is simple. I've had the opportunity to chair the immunization activities in my state when I was the deputy governor. And from the series of meetings I attended, the immunization coverage, especially year in, year out, despite the sensitization, especially in the north, the coverage is just a little above 6%. The southeast of this country has the highest immunization coverage. When you are confirmed by this distinguished Senate, that's the southeast has about 40%. And you can imagine in the north, we have less than 10% of the immunization coverage. When you are being confirmed, eventually, if you are confirmed by this distinguished Senate, I want to find out from you what policies or what actions are you going to take in order to ramp up the immunization coverage across the country. That is one. Number two, the Gavi is the global action on immunization. And as you are aware, all the states, the 36 states of the Federation, they are participating. They are stakeholders, and we contribute year in, year out. But however, we have problems in the procurement policies or in the procurement activities procedures by Gavi. One of the challenges is the Gavi don't, in most cases, sit down with the states that are concerned to find out exactly what they need. I give you an example. Last year, Gavi distributed some vehicles, Hiluxes and motorcycles. But to our surprise, most of these vehicles they distributed in order they are using diesel. They are diesel engines. So this shows that, or what that means is, they didn't confirm with the state. So if you are confirmed, then when we had meetings with them, we complained to them. To all the states that were participating in that stakeholder meeting, complained to them. So what exactly, if you are confirmed by this distinguished Senate, what actions are you going to take to see that these are being corrected? Thank you very much.
The last question, Senator Benga Daniels.
Thank you, our Senate President. My distinguished colleagues, I am Otumba Engineer Benga Daniel, representing the good people of Ogun East Senatorial District. Mine is not a long one. It's going to be very, very short. I noticed that in the course of this screening, we have spoken to probably about 4 different medical doctors. And so one is not particularly sure which portfolio is going to come to our person. And that is why I want to provide the information that Dr. Ishak Salako that we are speaking today is a very, very versatile, quite intelligent personality. In the course of working in Ogun State he was Commissioner for Agriculture, he was also Commissioner for Housing. And in all of this, I want to say to my colleagues that he carried himself creditably well. We had thought that he was not going to perform when he was made Commissioner for Housing and even Agriculture, and he did exceedingly well. So I just want my colleagues to take note that in Dr. Ishak Salako, we have a very versatile, very hardworking, very intelligent personality who can hold his own in any portfolio that he is virtually given. Thank you very much.
Mr. Nominee.
The President of the Senate, once again, thank you very much for the opportunity. The question on National Health Insurance Scheme, which is focusing on why the low coverage and what is the solution to improve the level of coverage. First, I think the 9th Senate have given us one solution by amending the law. Initially, the law of the National Health Insurance Scheme made it optional. If you like, you subscribe. If you don't like, you don't subscribe. The law has now been amended and is now compulsory for you to subscribe to the National Health Insurance Scheme. But that is not going to happen overnight, because health insurance is a culture. It is something that it is not part of our culture, which means that we must spend time on advocacy, on enlightenment, so that people see the benefit of subscribing to health insurance. The other thing is that once they now subscribe, and they're able to see, even if it's 20% that is subscribing, and the 80% can see that those 20% are doing better than they are, that is also an incentive for increased subscription. So it's something that's going to take time, but I believe that we're on the path to improving health insurance subscription in Nigeria. On the issue of local content in our healthcare system, I did mention that we have a lot to learn from other locations, but our health system must reflect our peculiarities. There's a place for alternative and complementary medicine in our health system. In Ogun State today, under the leadership of Prince Dapo Abiodun, we have the Alternative Health Board, which is to bring the alternative health practitioners into the umbrella that is regulated by government. It is important that the national body, that is the federal government, comes up with policies to encourage this and to ensure this goes down, such that alternative healthcare system is brought formally into the healthcare system of Nigeria. On my greatest strength, well, I always believe in a team play, and I always see myself as a team player. Each place that I've had the opportunity of working, whether civil servants or colleagues who are not civil servants, I've always had the privilege of working amicably in a team manner with everybody, which has helped us a lot in achieving our objectives. On brain drain. Well, brain drain is a very, very big problem in Nigeria. There's no doubt about it. Earlier on today, I was checking the WhatsApp platform of my colleagues that we graduated together from the University of Lagos in 1992. Close to 50% of us are outside Nigeria. There are 105 people on that platform, and out of that 105, 55 are outside Nigeria. That is a reflection of the level of the challenge. But I believe that brain drain is both an economic problem and a non-economic problem. Each time, we have always looked at it from the narrow angle of economy, that people are just traveling because they want better pay. Yes, there's nobody who doesn't want better pay. But job satisfaction, the environment that you work with, the equipment to work with, is also a very important element in encouraging people to leave the country. I believe in tackling the brain drain issue, we need to look at that. Again, we need to also inculcate more the spirit of patriotism from medical schools, from training. Because Nigeria invests a lot in the training of medical professionals. For example, if I've had to pay my way through medical school, I'll probably be just finishing paying the loan. But most of us, we go through medical school almost free, which means that there has to be a system, there has to be a policy, not necessarily forcing people to stay, but encouraging people to stay. I believe that those are the ways we can approach the issue of brain drain. On primary health care, the cornerstone of our health care in Nigeria is the primary health care system. And if you look at the document of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, his manifesto document titled Renewed Hope, you will see that the cornerstone of the healthcare system that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu wants to implement is with the primary healthcare system. I believe that what we need to do in Ogun State, as an example, under the watch of Prince Dapo Abiodun, one of the things that was done is to ensure that we do not necessarily go ahead building physical structures. Buildings do not deliver health care. You can build the greatest structure in the world. If you do not have the requisite professionals and the requisite equipment to work with, you will not achieve anything. So what it means is that in doing our primary health care system, first we need to structure our physical structures in such a manner that it serves the purpose that it's meant to serve. And we also need to bring in a lot more personnel into the primary health care system. We need to encourage the state, we need to encourage the local government to also do that. Distinguished senator that asked the question about the inclusion of remote areas in the health policy of Nigeria. I want to assure you that from what I've seen from the manifesto document of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I think there is inclusion. What is required, first is that, as a specific example of the woman in labor that you spoke about, now we have what we call traditional birth attendants, who are trained to be able to take deliveries. And they're also trained to be able to spot challenges very early. And once you spot challenges early, you can easily move such a patient to a more advanced center so that there can be appropriate intervention. This will be pursued. We also have water ambulances and water transport system that can be provided to move people from such remote locations to better equipped centers. Improvement in the immunization coverage. I want to observe that I believe that there is improvement, even in the north. there is improvement in the immunization coverage in Nigeria. And if you look at recent statistics, you will see that we are on the upward trends. Once again, immunization has a cultural aspect. And until we approach it from that cultural aspect, we bring in people that the grassroots people will listen to, bring in imams, bring in alphas, bring the people that they live with them, that they do very much again for the opportunity, sir.
For answering all our questions. You may now step forward and then courtesy and take leave of the Senate. Yes. Order what?
Shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. Order 51 reads thus: notice shall not be dispensed with in the case of motion or in respect of any other proceeding for which notice is required except with the consent of the President of the Senate and the general assent of the senators present.
Distinguished Senator, if you notice, you need leave of the Senate before you can take this, but that will be at plenary. Well, for now, there is no mess. It's lowered, and there are strangers in the chambers. I want to appeal to you. This Senate, from the look of things, will not be able to conclude the exercise today, so we can allow you to take that motion as the first item on Monday. So you should please try and make sure the clerk, so get the motion, let it be on the other paper. Leader of the Senate. Just for a break. We'll go and break and come back.
Mr. President, very distinguished colleagues, I will move that we go on. No break. Huh? People have to eat.
Minority Leader, a motion has been moved that we go on the break. Are you in support? Are you in support that we go on 20 minutes break to come back? Are you supporting it? Your job is to second the motion. Your job is to second the motion. Your job is not to correct the Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Senate President and dear colleagues. My name remains Darlington Nwokocha. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Leader of the Senate. I hereby second.
Distinguished colleagues, a motion has been moved that we should have a 20-minute break and return here at exactly 5:30 to enable us to continue with business of the Senate. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.